We've all seen those posts about people using reward travel to get free business class flights to Milan and these amazing vacations, but it feels really unattainable. It's often really difficult to get a specific strategy. And a lot of the times, they're taking out a whole bunch of credit cards every single year. And if that makes you nervous, like it does me right now, then this is a simple strategy where you can actually get a lot of those benefits without that strategy. I have an alternative here for you that I'm really excited to share with you today. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Lisa Meekum. I am the founder of Her Travel Club, where I teach women how to optimize their existing spending through credit card rewards and then really make those work for you in the best way possible so you can take your family on amazing trips and adventures without breaking the bank. Now, if you are just dipping your toes into this whole world, it can feel really overwhelming because there's really usually two strategies that all of the reward travel people are talking about. And one is taking out multiple credit cards every year. And if that makes you nervous, don't worry, this content is for you. I have amazing resources and a budget that is going to make sense for your existing spending without opening up a ton of cards and having welcome bonuses be your strategy. The second strategy that I often see takes a lot more time and gets really nitty-gritty about really optimizing all of the little aspects of each card and kind of making that a part-time job. Now, that's wonderful. That's excellent. However, in this series that I'm creating for you, we're not going to do any of that. Really, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the basics of what reward travel is, how we can make it work for you and your existing lifestyle and budget, and some recommendations of how you should be funneling your budget so that way you get the maximum amount of rewards for your family and the kind of trips that you want to take. Now, in this series, when we're done, you'll have about the equivalent, if you're the average size family with the average size spending according to the US Census, about 200,000 points after your first year, and then 100,000 points every year after that. Now, to give you some context, I was able to do round trip flights to Paris during peak season for my large family of 6 that was 108,000 points. And I can show you exactly how to do that. We're going to be covering all of this in later videos. And so really what we're doing is we're using your existing budget. And then I'm going to walk you through how to use your reward points that you've gathered just from funneling your existing spending and paying off your cards every month to using that, like cashing in those rewards for free or hugely discounted flights and hotels that can cover at least one amazing family vacation every year. Now, a little bit about me. I am a mom of 4. I have 3 teenagers and a 10-year-old. And so whenever we go anywhere, we need multiple hotel rooms or a very large VRBO, and everything is essentially a group booking. And I can understand just how expensive vacations can get. And so by using these strategies and creating the system, it has been life-changing for my kids. Just in the last 8 months, oh my gosh, in the last 8 months using reward travel and what I'm going to show you today, in the last 8 months, I've taken my family of 6 to Paris during peak season, to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico at the end of summer. We've done a trip to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Me and my husband did an amazing honeymoon getaway in Costa Rica for 10 days. We're going to Hawaii in 13 days at the time of this recording. We've done Las Vegas in the summer as well. You get the idea. Like, this is very, very doable. And our spending is a little bit higher than the average American household because we're a large family of 6 with multiple teenagers. But the numbers that we're going to be using today are for the average family of 3. And so we're going to back up just a little bit. Now, if you're just getting started in reward travel, really there's 2 different kinds of cards that everybody is going to be talking about. They're going to fit into 2 different criteria. And one is co-branded cards. This is if you have a Delta Amex or like the Hyatt credit card. These are travel reward credit cards that are specifically tied to a certain airline or a hotel or other business. Now, the second kind of card, which is the one that I highly recommend, is the flexible points cards. Now, these are credit cards that offer really awesome travel rewards and perks, but they're more generic to that credit card. So, for example, I have here the Capital One Venture card. This is an awesome card to have in your wallet. I highly, 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 highly recommend it. Or hang on, let's see here. Or the Amex Gold card. This is another example of a flexible point credit card. If you put your existing grocery budget on this card instead of your debit card, it gets 4 times the points for every dollar spent at grocery and restaurants. And so then after you've gotten all of your reward points from paying it off because you use it like a debit card, you're going to pay it off every single month. Then you can take those points and you can transfer it to whichever airline is running the cheapest flights and the best deal. And then later we'll also get into transfer bonuses. Whereas if I had put that on my Delta Amex, that's great. I'm accumulating Delta Sky miles. However, I can only use that for Delta flights. And so you really have just so much more freedom, and you can make your rewards go so much further if you put them on the more generic cards like that. Now we're going to go into what to do and what not to do when you're getting started with your reward cards. And this is stuff that we've all been there. We've all made mistakes. We've all done some of these things at some point before we knew better. But after this, you'll know better. And as this series continues, you're going to get even more strategic and even more honed in, and it's only going to get better. So no shame. We've all been there before we get into this. So in general, and we're going to go back to the debit card example, if when you go grocery shopping, you spend $100 on your debit card, great. But after you've spent that $100, that money's gone. It's not going to do you any more good besides obviously the food that you bought. However, if you were to put it on an Amex Gold card, because you get 4 times the reward points for every dollar spent at the time of this recording, then you are going to get 400 Amex rewards. And so you also have your food you bought and your regular budget, and you're going to pay that off every month so you don't accrue any interest. So you're going to be using your credit card like a debit card. And now you have a couple hundred reward points. Now, obviously, for most families in the US, we're spending far more than $100 a month. So every month, you're just accumulating a lot of American Express reward points, which is super awesome. Now, after a little bit, you've got a nice little nest egg of your reward points. Now, how exactly are you going to use them? This is where a lot of people get tripped up. So the easiest way is through cash back or a statement credit. Now, the reason that I'm going to highly discourage this, even though we've all done it, we've all been there, don't do it anymore unless it's an emergency. For each reward point, if you use it as a statement credit or cash back, you're only getting like 0.6 cents to maybe 1 cent per reward point. This is the lowest redemption value you can possibly get. An example is for about 50,000 reward points, you could get $300 to $500 off your bill. This is not a good strategy. Really only use that in an emergency. However, by using your card that way, you've saved $300 to $500 off your bill that you wouldn't have had if you put it on a debit card. The next way that you can redeem your reward points is through Amazon or a PayPal credit. And with this, you average about 0.7 cents per reward point. And again, this isn't a good redemption because for the same 50,000 reward points, now you have about $350. And so, again, better than just putting on a debit card, assuming you pay it off every month, but it's still not the best redemption value that you can get. Gift cards are just a little bit better, but still about the same. For the same 50,000 reward points, you're getting about $500 in gift cards. However, in your credit card portal, these are going to be the easiest ways to redeem your points. Now, the next way is to go directly through your credit card travel portal and then shop using your rewards in this way. And sometimes you can find deals. Usually it's not so great, but the magic really happens when you're able to transfer those points to a separate airline or a separate hotel. And I'll explain why. So often they'll have transfer bonuses. So for example, at the time of this recording, for every 1,000 reward points you transfer to Hilton, you get 2,000 Hilton reward points. So if you're booking a room that is 20,000 reward points per day, you're really only booking it for you. It's going to be 10,000. I hope that makes sense. So we'll go into more detail later. But these YouTube and TikTok videos where you're seeing people flying business class for free, usually you're going to have to pay some kind of taxes and fees. But when you see these videos, usually what's happened is they've applied for a credit card with a high welcome bonus. These are just fun little perks when you're setting up your new budget, but they apply for several different cards with different welcome bonuses. And then they transfer to other places so that way they can also get the best deal on that flight. And I'll walk you through how to do that. However, what we're going to do a little bit differently in this series is we're going to set you up for success with your new budget and then make sure that your budget makes sense ongoing forever for your family so you can continue to take at least yearly vacations on reward points without continuing to take out new credit cards. So what does that really look like? Now, I'm going to show you the 3-card system that I'm actively using and how this applies to the average American household and what those rewards can look like. And then in later videos, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to redeem those. I'm going to share my screen, walk you through how to book flights, how to search the best flights, how to search the best hotels, and all of that good stuff. So be sure to stay tuned and follow along with this series. But before we continue, since we're going to go into the nitty gritty of the cards that I'm using, it's important for me to disclose I am not a financial advisor. I am a mom. This is a system I'm using. Don't take, if this doesn't resonate, don't take this advice, and always consult with a professional before making any huge overhauls. And yeah, if it ever makes you nervous, trust your financial advisor because I'm a person on YouTube. Also, in all of my content, I only share tools that I actively use, cards that are in my wallet that I recommend, but the links that I will often be sharing is what's called a referral link. So you get an increased welcome bonus if you do decide to apply for that card. And then I get a referral bonus. It helps support my content and I view it as a win-win. But just so you know, usually the card links that I'll be sharing are referral links. And other content can be what's called an affiliate link, meaning that you pay no more. However, the company will then give me a commission for referring new customers. And again, it helps support the channel. Now, let's get into my card trio that we're using and what that really looks like. Now, I also created a guide that really breaks this down if you're not just a video content connoisseur, but if you also like to read through things, then I've got a guidebook for you that will walk through this whole process. And so I'm going to change screens to a screen share so that way we can go through all of this together. So this is a peek inside my Everyday Points playbook where I break down the money that you're already spending so that way it really works for you and you can redeem it for vacations and awesome experiences with your family. This is my husband. He's so cute. Okay, but we are going to get into the trio that I really, really love. Okay, so in short, this is what we're going to be doing. We are going to be using these 3 cards. I love these 3 cards. I funnel almost all of our expenses through these 3 cards. And here's why. So This card, your Amex Gold Card. We've talked about it a lot in this video already because I think it's such a powerful thing to have in your wallet. And the reason is if you put your existing grocery and restaurant budget on that card and pay it off every month, it's really going to maximize your reward points. And because it is a more like generic Amex card, you're going to be able to transfer that to airlines and other hotels and really take advantage of the best deals. Now, the next card that I'm going to recommend is the Venture Capital One card. I love this card because it gives you 2 points back on every dollar spent on basically everything else. So if you run your kids' extracurricular activities through it, run your utilities through it, all of the things that you would already be spending money on, if you can funnel it through that card and then pay it off every month, you're really going to be maximizing those rewards. And again, because it's a Capital One Venture card, you're going to be able to transfer those points to all of the different airlines and hotels and really get the best value. Now, one of the things that I do that is really different that I don't see anybody else on the internet talking about is for a really low fee, I became a travel advisor. And what this enabled me to do is I'm able to qualify for business credit cards that have amazing rewards. And I'm able to get commissions and access exclusive deals when I book our own family trips that I wouldn't have had access to otherwise. And so for me, the fee in being a travel agent, I I make money, I make that back and then some very easily just on the commissions I'm able to book. So for example, when we went to our most recent trip to Costa Rica, I booked our hotels and our flights on points. But we had just a couple days at a VRBO tree house that was amazing. It was next to a volcano, it was a whole thing. And VRBO, you can't use your credit card rewards on. And so I was able to book that through my travel advisor portal and get a commission on it and get it less than public prices. I was also to do the same thing for our rental car, for all of our excursions, just all of the other aspects of a trip that you don't think about that can add up. And so for me, that's been wonderful. But I digress. I'm going to go back to being a travel agent not only saves me on our trips when we're there and when I'm planning them out, but it helped qualify me for these business credit cards that have really excellent rewards. And so the one that I recommend is the Chase Sapphire. I love, 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 love this card. It's so easy to work with. It's easy to accumulate points. I love this card. So all of our or all of our my business expenses are now going to go on that card. This includes things like your cell phone bill, buying your laptop, like all of these traditional business expenses. Again, I'm not an accountant. Consult your accountant on what you can write off and what you can make a business expense or not. However, that has been really, really helpful. Now, just in using my family's existing budget, when I funnel them through these specific cards using those categories that I mentioned, we're getting 250,000 reward points every year on autopilot without spending any more money. Now, this is huge considering we're going to, just to zoom out a little bit, 250,000 reward points every year is a lot of rewards. I flew our family round trip per person through Delta. We spent 18,500 points per person round trip. When we went to Paris, it was less than 30,000 points round trip per person. I know right now from JFK, you can book one-way flights from JFK to several different destinations in Europe for 6,000 points. And so having an extra 250,000 points per year is a really big deal. This is not something you want to sleep on, you guys. This will actually save you thousands of dollars every month or every year. Now, if you'd like this guide, you can get it in the link below where you're watching this video, and I'll send it right over. It's wonderful, really. It's over a 40-page PDF that walks you through the entire process that we've covered in this video as well as going forward. So you definitely will want to check that out. Now, today we covered a lot. We covered exactly what reward travel is, how these influencers are doing it, my strategy of how to do it without opening a whole bunch of cards. In the next video, we're going to go into welcome bonuses, setting this up, and you're really not going to want to miss it. I'm going to go into detail about how to find these amazing flight deals. And yeah, it's going to be wonderful. Seriously, it's so much fun. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. And again, be sure you check out that guide and that resource and download that below. And I will see you in the next one. See you.